All right, everybody. Welcome back, or welcome the first time. I don't know what we're calling this now. This is we're finally back on the air. Part on Pod, episode 19, but it kind of feels like episode 1 because we've been gone for so long. I know we kind of keep having these like false restarts where we're like, we're back, and then it's like, no, we're not, and then it's like, we're back, no, we're not. So hopefully we're actually back. I'm not going to make any false promises to the viewership of the 7 or 8 people who listen, but yeah. Anyways, we're trying to make it back on a regular schedule. But um, Brady's with us, who has been kind of here on the second half of this so far, and PJR returns, who was here the first half of it.
Happy
So
to be back.
hopefully we now are a triumvirate of podcasting power, and it'll only be a matter of time before we take over. Push foreplay or no laying up, whoever has the top spot. I don't even know, but one of those guys.
And for the record, just want to point out something, Ryan. You kind of did this symbol right here. We're not a part of the Illuminati.
No, we're not. I don't even know why. I just triumvirate, triangle. That's where my head went. I'm tired, so if that helps. Yeah, I'm not a part of the Illuminati. I wouldn't say I wish I was. I guess that's not a smart thing to say, but I just am like, yeah, I don't have any power, so it doesn't make any difference. Anyways, fellas, how have things been? How are the golf games?
Brady, would you like to go ahead and?
Almost non-existent. The Minnesota courses are closed, so we play on the simulator. But got back from a Phoenix trip last week and got one round in, so that felt nice. Enjoyed the sunshine.
The reels I saw of you, Brady, you were striping the ball and getting a lot of hoots and hollers from the people you were playing with. So I don't know if those are your only 5 good shots of the entire round. But from what I saw, it looked like the game was pretty crisp.
Instagram versatility, right?
Yeah, exactly right.
My game's actually been really solid. I'm actually kind of excited about it. I really haven't played many rounds of golf recently. Last match of the year, I was in West Frankfurt playing golf. I think I played for 3 days straight. I don't think I had a single round over 74, 75. That's just how my season ended. Right now, I'm going into the simulator, that little makeshift thing that I got in the garage. I'm starting to run my drills, working on some more speed training because I think that's something that you can never really get too much of as long as you're doing it appropriately. On top of that, I'm working on trying to get my hands or keeping the club in front of my body a little bit more. I have a problem of swaying my weight back and sweeping it in a little bit. So I'm really focused on trying to keep that a little bit of this.
On the hips, baby.
But I'm trying to keep that club out in front of me a little bit more and swinging more down the line instead of out. So basically, it's just drill season for me. It's just me in the garage out there. It could be 30 minutes. It could be 2 hours. It just kind of depends on what's going on. A lot of blade 4 irons for ball striking. I swear by this drill, and I know it's somewhat controversial. If you can get yourself a butter knife and practice hitting golf balls with it, hit 50 with it, every club is easier to hit after that. I guarantee you. So if you're listening to this, pick up an old bladed 4 iron or 2 iron if you really want to punish yourself. Hit like 50 golf balls with that. Every club you hit after that is going to look monstrous, and it's so much easier to hit.
That makes perfect sense. All right, it's wintertime in St. Louis, so are you going shoes or no shoes? That's the big question.
I usually do shoes, but if it's a nice enough day, if it's not wet out, if it's been like a dry cold, I can still pull off the bare feet. Yeah, I'll still do it. It'll be pouring rain, and I'll still be barefoot. People look at me like I'm psychotic, which I might be, but actually, I feel so good. When I walk my dogs in the morning, I go out there with no shoes on. It'll be 20 degrees out there. Wakes you up real fast.
I bet it does. That's a ballsy move. I'm going to pass.
Oh, yeah. Well, then I just come inside and put my feet on my wife, and she yells at me. So she loves waking up to freezing cold feet on her.
I'm sure. That sounds like a fun way to do it. It's usually the reverse. It's usually my wife putting her cold feet on me and me being like, please don't touch me with those. Those are not human. Those are so I don't understand it.
I'm not much of a feet person other than my feet. So
yeah, I don't even like mine. I wear socks all the time. I'm just not like, why? Like, what?
I'm a monkey, dude. Like I'll pick stuff up with my feet. I throw stuff at people. My toes are like sort of spread out even more.
I hear that's healthy for you. I don't know. My wife talks to me about these kinds of things. It's good to have like splayed feet, but I don't know.
Well, that's what we're supposed to have. And actually, grounding is really good for you. Like the energy from the earth, like you actually absorb it in through your feet a little bit. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. Oh, I will say this though: when I am outdoors barefoot for 3 or 4 days, like on these golf trips, I'm in a great mood. I feel better. But when I come home for like 5-6 days or even a week or two, and I'm kind of trapped indoors because of working and doing everything else out. I've noticed there is a legitimate decline in my mood.
I definitely think there's something to that
Yeah.
personally.
It could just be being outside too and playing golf that I'm enjoying, but the bare feet thing it's freaking awesome.
Brady's like, you two are insane. What the hell are we talking about?
Oh, and I did play in a scramble last weekend. It was like 40 degrees. I won the long drive competition, and our team won. So
Hashtag humble brag.
humble brag.
Yeah, that's so funny. My golf game is also pretty much non-existent. I cannot get this like left knee to. I've shot it up with so many different things. I'm gonna go out and play tomorrow though, and just be like, knee be damned. We'll just see. As long as I don't like collapse, I'm just gonna play. So we'll just see how it goes. But I haven't played in. I've played one scramble in late October. That's pretty much it. So we'll see how it's going to be a little rusty for sure. Like Tiger, shaking some rust off.
Yeah, just like Tiger.
73, 74, shake some rust off. Not going to be a big deal. I'm not a couple bogues, a couple birds. It'll be fine. That's not true. But speaking of Tiger, obviously thoughts. I think it's a perfect week to come back because the GOAT came back, and I was super pumped. I haven't watched Mensch Golf lately, to be honest. Yeah. So probably a good idea we haven't done the pod because that's kind of what our podcast is about. But I watched every shot from Tiger this week, all 4 days.
I think he looked great. I mean, I did not expect. I mean, I know he was only even par for the tournament, and this isn't. The score doesn't reflect, in my opinion, how well he played. He's hitting the ball a mile. The ball speed's there. The distance is there. He drove a par 4 today and had an eagle putt. You know what I mean? He's hitting par 5s and 2. Short game looks a little rusty. I mean, like you said, there is rust there, but the ball striking is obviously there. The most impressive part to me, my favorite part about it probably was when he was doing the interview and they were asking, like, how does your body feel? And the first day he's like, I'm hurting everywhere. I'm tired. After the second day, though, he's like, I'm even surprised how good I feel right now.
Yeah.
So him going to play once a month, like when I first heard that, I was like, first off, Tiger always comes out. He manages expectations. He always aims low for what we actually get from him, I feel like. For him to come out and say, I think once a month is realistic before that second day, and he was surprised about how good he felt, that to me speaks volumes. And I love it too, because I think the reason why Tiger didn't compete last year, other than him being in a lot of pain, is he couldn't play consistently. If he can get out there and play once a month, he can build some momentum. He can start to peak and find a form instead of going, oh, I haven't played a tournament in 2 months, and it's still, it still kind of gets in your head a little bit, even Tiger's head a little bit. So if he can build this momentum, I mean, I'm not going to say he's going to contend at Augusta, but I mean, by the end of the year, maybe he wins another tour championship again. He's always played East Lake really well. If he can build the momentum and stay healthy, play at least once a month, I don't see why he can't win again. The game's there, the speed's there. He's not lacking distance. He has all the tools everyone else has. Like, why couldn't he compete? He's freaking Tiger, So
Brady.
It was promising, and his post-round interviews were even more impressive than the golf, actually, where like after the second round he said how good he was feeling, and then tonight after his round how he said definitely he doesn't see the forecast of once a month changing. Like, he obviously feels pretty dang good because I'm sure he's hurting, but he always, like you said, PGI, he manages expectations, and he's usually like, he lowballs himself and he doesn't want to get hopes up. But to say that he thinks he can play once a month, like it looked like he can, and if he feels like he can, I'm pumped for this season.
Yeah, it looked like he got around really well. Like, you didn't see any limping or anything like that. He looked comfortable out there. I mean, it is a relatively flat course. It's not like walking Augusta. Don't get me wrong, but he looked comfortable out there. He didn't look like there was no wincing. There was no. You didn't see him like last year or that one. Or before, like leading into the Masters where he withdrew. You could tell he was just limping around his rounds. Like he shouldn't have been there. And I think he knew it too, but I think just the competitor in him has to be there. And I think also him coming back once a month now with everything going on with LIV and Rahm potentially going over there. I honestly am calling this one right now. I bet Cantlay and Schauffele jump ship too. It's important to have Tiger back on the PGA Tour, because if Tiger isn't on the PGA Tour and then you have those big names leap, that's really going to suck some air out of the PGA Tour. Having Tiger playing once a month is really going to help with the traction and everything like that too. There's also rumors going around with Jay Monahan being out after this deal too. I don't know if you've heard about that yet, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, you're getting ahead of us.
I'm so excited to be back.
I'm just kidding.
I'm just excited.
It's exactly. Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with everything you guys were saying, and I wonder, just because Tiger does temper expectations, can we expect more than once a month? Like, if he's saying that, yeah, can we expect it? And I'll call it right now. Well, I mean, maybe the 2024 Masters champ. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? I just have to retract it on this podcast. But if I'm right, then I look like a genius. So I'm going to go 2024 Masters champ, T-Dubs.
Bryson's going to win a major this year.
Bryson's not going to win a major this year.
He's going to win a major this year.
No shot. Not going to happen.
Hot take. He's going to win a major this year.
Hot take. I'm going to urinate on that fire because that's not going to happen. Anyways, yeah. I mean, okay. Honestly, he's won a U.S. Open, so he absolutely could win a major. But we'll see. I mean, he's probably one of the best golfers in the world because he put up a 58 and a 59 this year.
He's really well, man.
Pretty good. Yeah,
I
can't stand him, but
I can't. But it's there. It's there.
No, it is.
He might want him to.
No, I definitely don't want him to. That's for sure. We keep getting distracted. Anyway, Tiger Woods is absolutely yoked up top, by the way. His upper body is unbelievable. Dude is 48 years old.
He's juicing.
He's crazy big.
His veins were popping today.
It was insane. When they showed his, first of all, okay, I don't understand why Tiger Woods can't dress himself if he's not on a golf course. The outfits he wears are just absolute. It was I knew it looked like he was in the gym. Even for a gym outfit, that was bad. I'm like, what are you wearing to come to the golf?
Tiger has said it himself. He has the worst sense of style and fashion.
Yeah,
if you ever see him outside of because golf apparel wise, he looks great. You ever see him outside of that? He has absolutely he knows it. There's an interview out there. He said something about it. Other people have given him shit for it too. It's an actual thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't get that. But anyways, his arms were massive. His just everything is just incredibly big. I still understand why. I mean, I know he got in a car accident, but he has no leg muscle. The disproportionate, from below the waist to above the waist is just he looks like a guy you make fun of at the gym who only does upper body. And you're like, dude, hit a leg day one time. Just one time.
He's always said if he could change one thing about his body, it would be that he could have bigger calves. He's always had scrawny calves. He's never been able to do anything about it. He's tried everything. He just has never done it for some reason. I think he's top heavy now because the lower part of his body, including lower back, is compromised. So you have to rely more on your upper body to get through the swing a little bit more. He can't use the ground in his legs like he used to be able to use them. Also, I do think he's on HGH, which is not illegal. HGH is not illegal. Testosterone is not illegal. But the reason why I say that to you, like you said, the veins were popping, Brady. If the veins in your biceps are popping while you're playing golf, that doesn't happen unless there's probably something else in your body making that happen. There's people that go to the gym and they work out hard and their veins don't pop. His veins are popping during a 7-iron swing, guys. That's good. Oh yeah, that's why. Yeah. And he has the puffy face too. I think that has something to do with the.
Okay, yeah, I noticed that the puffy face. I was just talking to Brady about this offline. I was watching. He did this interview for Bridgestone Golf, and his face looked so puffy, and I was like, "Is he getting work done? What's happening there?" But I don't know anything about HGH except the steroid scandal in baseball. Is there no performance enhancing drug testing or rule on the PGA Tour?
Not for HGH.
Imagine Tiger does something that's going to get him kicked off the tour.
Stuff like SARMs and that is illegal. You know what I mean? But HGH, just human growth hormone, is not illegal. I actually looked into this a day or two ago because I was curious about it. And usually actually squares out your face is what it's supposed to. I think the puffy face is a side effect from probably some of the medication or treatment that he's on.
Crazy.
Yeah, I think he's retaining water weight, and that's probably why he's also sweating so much as well.
He was sweating a lot.
He was pouring in his post round today.
Yep.
He had a faucet on top of him. It was so
I think he's retaining a lot of water, and in that environment it was just pouring out of him is what it was. If it could be dead wrong. This is just how I see it. I kind of am a nutritionist, but I'm not a scientist.
He's always sweating a lot, though. He's always sweating.
Yeah, no, you're right for sure. Any other Tiger stuff? Anything you guys noticed or want to talk about, or we didn't talk about? Playing the new TaylorMade driver. I guess we can talk about that because it's out there.
Oh, I have a prediction on what is. Unless you guys already know. Do you guys already know what the QI stands for? I'm calling this right now. What it is?
I don't know.
My
Something
money.
intelligence.
Quantum Intelligence
Yeah.
10K MOI, because Ping released that 10K MOI driver. Quantum Intelligence 10K. That's what it is. Quantum Intelligence to combat the artificial intelligence from Callaway. The 10 is for the 10K to combat Ping. QI 10. That's what it is. Cash. I'm putting my money on that one right now. And actually, I think at one of the summits they talked about using quantum intelligence to design the stealth drivers too. So
What is quantum intelligence over artificial intelligence?
I think it's
don't know.
they're professional.
Is it like quantum physics? Are they going into like another realm with Ant-Man and creating things?
I bet they say something like that.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you. That seems like an awesome guess. It would be weird if that's what it was, because it's such a take on the other manufacturers. Like, it's like, come up with something different, not like a take on what they did.
So you're right, but at the same time, though, so Callaway's doing the AI thing, which is absolutely phenomenal, and you know how I feel about Callaway all day. But if you think about artificial intelligence, if you just plug that word out there, it's going to get good and positive feedback on it, because with the dangers of AI and all these other things. Here, quantum intelligence, you don't really think of anything negative. You know what I mean? So I think quantum is TaylorMade. If Callaway had TaylorMade's marketing, it'd be a no contest. TaylorMade is a much better marketing company, and I think that's what gives them a lot of their success. I'm not saying they make bad products at all, because they make some great stuff, but I think they're better marketers than they are anything else. And I think
it helps when you have Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods on your
Scotty
marketing.
Scheffler and Colin Morikawa and Tommy Fleetwood. They're going to get Charlie Woods.
Yeah, Charlie plays your stuff too. That's going to help too. Yeah. So I think that's always been Callaway's problem from a marketing standpoint. I mean, they have Rahm, but then after that, I mean, like, you have Xander, but he's not a sexy name. You know, Sam Burns isn't a sexy name. So it's hard.
I think the best they have right now outside of Rahm is Rose Zhang. I think Rose Zhang is going to be their cash cow, 100%. I think she's like literally going to be like the next Annika. I think she's going to be that good.
Yeah, and I do wonder, like, I don't know how you could quantify. It's impossible to quantify this, I think. But I do wonder how much these guys drive. Like, how much business does Tiger Woods drive to TaylorMade? Like, if he was not in there, does it change? Because I can't imagine Annika drove a ton of business to Callaway. Maybe she did in the 90s, and I don't know that answer. I'm just saying I wonder how much these guys, like, even like we get like the social media, like Roger Steele or a Bob Does Sports or Grant or Mac Boucher, like, how much are these guys actually driving product sales versus...
I would say someone like Tiger does, and actually, ran into a guy at Walmart today, and he's a Callaway guy, and he's not a big fan of the Stealth or TaylorMade drivers, but he's a big Tiger guy. He's like, yeah, Tiger's playing that new TaylorMade driver. He's like, well, maybe I'll go try it.
Sure.
And I was like, really, dude? Like, but put the club in Tiger's hands. I mean, Nike golf clubs never would have sold if Tiger didn't play them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it just wouldn't have happened, you know? So I think marketing is different now than it used to be. I think using Annika as a comparison is difficult. Because I think now it's so different. As far as like influencers go driving it, I don't know how much they drive it as much as it is putting it in front of people all the time. So it's forced to consume it, and then almost subconsciously they are driving sales. I don't think it's a direct thing. I don't think people are going like, ooh, Mac Boucher, TaylorMade, I'm gonna go play TaylorMade. Ooh, Roger Steele, Callaway, I'm gonna go play Callaway. I think it's like, oh, you just keep seeing Callaway, and you're like, well, I guess I better go try this driver out. It must be really good, you know?
That makes sense.
Brand recognition, like in all the 80s movies and stuff, they'd have the Coca-Cola can just sitting there, and nobody ever said Coca-Cola, but it was always just, it was there, and you see it, and it's always in your head.
Subliminal.
You see it in Seinfeld all the time. With like, they'll put like Trump Tower in there. They always mention driving the Volvo. You know what I mean? Just look, like, everyone does it, but I actually pointed it out to my wife once. She's like, I can't enjoy watching anything anymore because all I see is marketing.
Yeah. No, it totally makes sense. Well, let's hope that Tiger, we're just praying for an injury-free, like, don't let him drive anywhere. Somebody driving places. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
Don't let him pocket slip on any ice. Just keep him in Florida. Get him to the place he needs to be to.
If he stays healthy, he's going to be fine.
The game's there. I mean, the game is there for sure. He made a ton of birdies.
Mhm.
Like I didn't get a count, but he made a lot of birdies. I mean, I know he made some mistakes, but like he had
That's
to have
why.
made 4 to 6 birdies a round.
Yeah, I
He's got
thought that
32 though.
his weakest play was definitely his wedge game, his chipping. But I also noticed I didn't get a chance to watch a lot on Friday or Saturday, but Thursday and today, like towards the end of the round, it almost seemed like his mental fatigue was
Mm-hmm.
worse than anything else. Where he actually touched on it, I think, in the interview afterwards, where he started to lose focus a little bit and just wasn't fully committing. So I think that this tournament was really good for that, to get him back in that mode, and he kind of knows where he stands now. But I did notice some like weird decisions that you wouldn't think he would have made on Thursday afternoon.
Yeah.
And he talked, yeah, like you said, he talked about it. He was struggling to commit to shots where usually as he's walking up to the ball, he already's like the wind's puffing up, it's doing this, it's doing that. He settles into his shots quicker and commits. And he was almost like second guessing himself, which kind of concerned me because I've never heard Tiger talk about second guessing himself ever. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he never has, but he never just openly goes, I was, between clubs and going back and forth. Like, you've never heard Tiger do that. You know what I mean? So I think it was a lot of rust. And I think he was also talking about how he hasn't lost feel, but like he needs to get some of that. He's a very feel-based player. He's not mechanical like everybody else is. So I think, like you said, playing at home is different than playing in tournament golf. I think he just needs to develop his feel. I think that'll come with, I think honestly, this tournament and him playing the PNC with Charlie are the best tournaments to start the year off with, because neither one of them are overly serious. Both of them are going to be good for him to experiment and play around and do some things that are going to benefit him and get him ready for Riviera.
Yeah. And he also, not that he checks his caddy or his caddy checks him a lot, but he didn't have LaCava there to keep him in line or anything.
Mhm.
Not that he like has always needed that, but getting back into things now, a good caddy does make a difference. And he had his, I forgot his buddy's name, but buddy on the bag this week, which
Rob
makes,
McNamara.
yeah, Rob, which makes a bit of a difference. So yeah,
I am worried about the caddy situation because I think right now my bet is Cantlay is going to go to LIV and LaCava is going to go with him and take the payday.
probably.
That's honestly what I think is going to happen. So who does Tiger get as a caddy? I mean, apparently there is a list of people. I think I read that somewhere. Could be wrong. I could have been making that up, but I who's he going to go with? He's somebody awesome. You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to go with some slouch. He's freaking Tiger Woods. Like, who's out there that's on the market that's that, or maybe he'll rip somebody off somebody else's bag. I guess that's possible too. But
Yeah.
imagine if Bones went to freaking Tiger. How awesome would that be?
That'd be good. That'd be
That'd
awesome.
be so much fun.
He would give him bones. I feel like JT would be like, yeah, you can have him.
Oh, especially because it's especially because it's JT's caddy and they're so close. Like, hey, bud, I'm stealing your caddy. Take that, little brother.
Yeah, I don't even know who's out there. I mean, I don't know a ton of caddies, but it'll be interesting. I mean, he'll find somebody.
Oh yes, Tiger. I'm guaranteed if anybody's gonna find somebody, it's gonna be him.
Well, yeah, I mean, I get, like you said, if you put the feeler out and be like, Tiger wants me to come work with him, I have to go. Like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna once in a lifetime bag to caddy for.
No pressure at all while you're on that bag either.
Probably a lot less pressure now than it used to be. Like, if there's an era to caddy for Tiger, this is the era. Like, fun, laughing Tiger who's just like, yeah, it's fine. I'm a little sore.
How cool would it be if Stevie came back for him?
Oof.
Well, imagine if Tiger closed his career. Imagine if he closed his career with Stevie on the bag.
Nah.
And say, I'm just saying, like Cinderella story here, all right?
Ooh, that would be sweet. What
Stevie comes. That'd be cool too. But I don't think Fluff can do it anymore. But imagine if Stevie came back, caddied for Tiger, and then Tiger ended up breaking Jack's records with Stevie in the bag.
Yeah,
that would be unfreaking believable. I'm rooting for that.
That would be sweet. I can't imagine. I would say that's less likely than Tiger winning the Grand Slam this year. Like, I would put more money on him winning all 4 majors than Stevie Williams being like, yeah, let's do that again.
I want it. That'd be so cool, dude. That'd be epic.
Okay, let's keep going. LIV, I mean, we were talking about Tiger kind of talked about it a lot. There's a lot of rumors swirling around. I have heard the Rahm rumor. I have heard the Xander rumor. I've heard the Cantlay rumor. I heard a Tony Finau rumor. So,
that'd break my heart.
That would be crazy, I think, especially since he was just down there. So I don't know, but anyways, I find it weird that these guys like there's this new crop of rumors coming out, but we have like a framework agreement in place, or like we're working on it. There's a deadline coming up, but then yet people are jumping to live, but it all may be one. But Jay Monahan might be out. Like,
Well, I called it in the podcast months ago when this whole thing went with Jay. I said he took the money and he ran.
sure,
He made it. And I found it actually came out too that he was actually. So I found this out today, and this blew my mind. Is that they actually uncovered emails of Jay talking to the Saudis or the PIF fund about bailing out the DP World Tour,
mm-hmm.
and they wouldn't do it. And then the LIV thing happened, and then he just completely went against LIV. But under the table, he's been actually individually going and trying to make a deal with them, which does not work with the PGA Board of Directors. That's not how the PGA Tour is supposed to be ran. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be for the players, by the players, and all of those things. And Monahan, like I'm kind of like I said from the beginning, the moment he said like, "Oh, we're joining forces or whatever, we're going to come to an agreement," I go, they paid him out, and once the deal is done, he's leaving. That's what's going to happen. He's taking the money and running. I've always thought he was a snake in the grass. I've never liked the dude, but like this is, if he leaves after the deal is done, it all but confirms it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think he has a golden parachute.
Mm-hmm.
And, because they rolled off, I think even the PGA Tour rolled off their 501(c)(3) status. They're no longer a nonprofit.
Yep.
So that they can look for private equity.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, he's going to get this deal done and make a bundle of money. And he has no, I don't think he has any, actual care for what happens to the PGA Tour or LIV. It's not ever been about that. It's just about securing that golden parachute. And he's he gets to make a mess and then, retire without a care in the world. He'll get LIV money to just walk away.
Yeah. It almost seems like he leveraged LIV the entire time for his own personal gain while simultaneously trying to not intentionally, but it had a very negative impact on golf, which tells me he should have never had the job to begin with. And he's lost all the trust with the players, and rightfully so. Like even Tiger didn't know that this was going to happen. Like everybody just got a text message and they found out basically the same time that we did about the merger, where everyone's just like, what the hell is this? You know what I mean? So he should be gone just because he should be gone. But I don't agree with how it's going down. I really don't like this dude.
Yeah. Pretty crazy.
Apparently one of the deals with Rahm too is I think you probably all read the same headline, $600 million deal, which is stupid money. But apparently the term that they were hung up on was changing the format. Because I don't think Rahm wants to do like a 3-day tournament. Guarantee you they're going to go to a 4-day event. 4-day event. Rahm's going to get his own team. He's going to get the payday, and then the LIV players are going to get world ranking points. And then honestly, I thought the LIV thing was getting heated before. Now they get world ranking points. Well, where's the motivation to play in the PGA Tour if you can go to LIV, get the world ranking points, and make all that money? And then the offseason go play the Australian Open and do all these other things. There's no motivation to be in the PGA Tour. Other than legacy, other than the people that actually care about winning the events. But unfortunately, we live in a very greedy time. If somebody offers you $600 million, I'm sorry, your great-grandkids can retire now. You know what I mean? So, it's an ugly spot, man.
Yeah, and the thing that I'm confused about, and Brady, jump in here too, is why are these guys going to LIV if they're supposed to have an agreement in place? What is I guess I'm confused on the point of that.
Yeah.
Is it just to collect money and then all of a sudden everything meshes back together? And it's just we're just going to take free money and then we all end up back on the PGA Tour anyway. So what's the difference?
Yeah. The deadline for that agreement is the end of the month. And now I feel like I agree with what PGR said. If Rahm goes, there will be at least 2 other guys that go. It's like the old myth or theory or whatever, when a celebrity dies, they die in groups of 3. It's yeah. So if Rahm goes, at least 2 other big dogs you are probably gonna go, just because that's the way it usually happens. So yeah, but the timing is weird. It's they're doing it right now to make sure they get the big payday, and then if things work out with the PGA Tour, everything gets kind of sewn back together. They can kind of play in some events, maybe. Then the official World Golf Ranking points come into play, and the PGA Tour doesn't. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be weird, but yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it because I'm confused on why.
I
why
think it's their way of getting. I think it's their way of getting the cake and eating it too. You know what I mean? There's going to be no consequences for these guys going to live like there was so many. They're threatening sanctions and all, but they're not going to be able to do it because if they merge, there's nothing you can do. Now, originally, one of the things on the table was if we merge, live goes away. There's no more live golf. But I don't see that. I used to think that was going to happen. I'm starting to think it's live is here to stay.
Yeah.
I don't see it going anywhere unless the PGA Tour starts offering stupid money. You know what I mean? But like, it's ruined. Money ruins every sport.
Numbers.
Money ruins every sport, man. Like, I'm not. I don't know about you guys. I don't watch golf because like, oh, they're playing for $500 million. I want to know who wins the 500. I don't care. These guys are all rich. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if it was like a bunch of people in the Corn Ferry Tour, it's like life-changing experience. And like, yeah, then it's a little bit different. But these guys, I don't care how much money they win. I want to see who's going to win the Players. You know what I mean? The Waste Management, who can handle, the par 3 the best. You know what I mean? 16 to 16. Yeah. I love Riviera. I love all of these events, and I love the legacy and the history behind them, and playing in the same tournaments. That Ben Hogan. Like there's something to be said about all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Playing for $500 million in shorts with rock music in the background. This is basically what I do on my golf trips without the money. I don't want to watch that. At least for me, it's not necessarily the best people competing against each other. It's like, excuse my language, I feel like for them it's more of like a dick swinging contest than it is a competition. So like it's just not it just doesn't do anything for me. Still, you know what I mean? What are they playing for? Money? I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah. No, that's it.
At this point, the only reason not to go would be the PGA Legacy tournaments and the standing that you don't want to take blood money. But if you're cool with both of those, like you're rich.
Yeah, you're cool taking blood money. Like I guess it doesn't matter.
I mean, it's hard, like I would like to say that I wouldn't take blood money, but I mean, like if somebody gave me an email tomorrow to be like, hey, we're going to pay you $600 million to do the LIV Golf podcast, I'd be like, how do I turn that down when you can't? I mean, like, again, totally different scenario because like you're saying, Jon Rahm's not having trouble paying the bills already. But it's just like, yeah, that's hard to, I mean, that is hard to turn down. Like, it's hard to be like, we would set for life. We play 12 tournaments a year and maybe the majors. So you have to be gone, 16 weeks out of 52 instead of 25 or 30 weeks. I mean, that's such a hard, especially like guys who have families. Like I know for me, I'd be like, yeah, I'll go 16 weeks for $600 million.
I'd do almost anything for $600 million.
Exactly. See, it makes sense. Like
golf, I absolutely would. Like you could give me $1 million and I would do it. But
I am surprised that Rahm wouldn't want to play in the majors because I know like you can, and since he's won a major, he's exempt. But I mean, if you're not getting world ranking points, then eventually you will fall out of that group.
But if they go to a 4-day event, they can apply for world ranking points
as long as there's a cut and 4 days. Yeah,
and that's the one thing is like that's what the rule that whenever they got denied it, that was the reason for it. So if they change that format so that like, okay, these are the things that we need to do to get world ranking points, we did them. Give us the points. They can't fight it anymore.
Reject it for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna look very obvious what they're doing if they reject it. Let's put it that way. And the PGA Tour, honestly, right now, I mean, it's not even the PGA Tour. It's Jay Monahan has made the PGA Tour look so bad. They can't really afford many stains and many hits as far as I'm concerned because it's only going to push other people away. Like, oh, wait, Jon Rahm leaving, Xander probably leaving, Cantlay probably leaving. It has everything to do with the lack of trust from Jay Monahan. I think if Jay Monahan would have stood his ground and not been pulling all this crap behind the curtains, they wouldn't have left. I think it's just, why are we going to be here? Monahan doesn't care about us. Somebody's like, it's to the point now where it actually looks like Norman cares more than Monahan does. And I think Norman's a giant turd. So, like, just the fact that you go, Norman cares more about his players than Monahan, like, not a good look. You know what I mean? So Monahan's got to go.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. It's going to be.
Monahan made it so there's a lot of gray space in the middle, where for a while there was no gray space. It was either one party or the other, and now there's like this kind of in between, like we're working on it, and so the players I feel like are a little bit more comfortable, and the lashback that the first batch of players that jumped ship were getting is not there anymore. Like if Rahm got, like everybody hated the player, or looked down upon the players that went to LIV earlier. But if Rahm goes, I won't have that view of him like I did the original players that went. I just think the whole perspective has changed now.
The politics have changed in it completely. You're right. Because if you look at what happened to the first batch of people, yeah, it was bad and it sucked, but it's not as bad as we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And now they're talking about joining forces. It will not be nearly as bad as it was before. There's no fear in them. There's no like, oh, if we leave, something bad's going to happen. It's gone. That doesn't exist. There's no consequences for these guys leaving, as far as I'm concerned. Take your payday, come back and play the majors. That's a huge win for them, And if they can get eligibility to play in something like the players or even some of the other events, and it's a done deal. Like, what sucks about that though is it's going to take the spotlight off of almost every other good tournament during the year that isn't one of like the big elevated events,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one question that I had, I don't get this with LIV, is with the shotgun format. Obviously, you can only have a certain amount of people on the course, so 72 max if you had 4 people per hole, but I think they were doing 3 people per hole, so 54 people on the course at once. Okay. Where do all the other guys, they don't play, like they must sit out?
They're like cheering their team on. If you ever watch at the end, like they're all still there, like rooting each other on. It's almost like a Ryder Cup or President's Cup kind of thing. Like, oh, you guys aren't playing, but you're here. You have your role, or whatever the hell it might be. Like, it's very much an emphasis on the team format.
So they still go to the tournaments?
It seems like it. I couldn't
say. Don't all 4 members play?
It seems like they do, but at a certain point, like they were recruiting so many people that there's no way everyone was playing every week.
They'll do it like charity tournaments where it's like an A group and a B group, and so you have like 100.
No, I'm not completely positive on how all of that works. I do know that they're allowed to trade players this year. I know some players got dropped. Like Graham McDowell went to Brooke Koepka team. Koepka dropped Matthew Wolff is like the biggest disappointment in golf history. The guy came out.
Yeah.
What's that?
Talking shit about him every week when they were on the same team.
Well, it was weird because Wolff left the PGA Tour citing mental health things, and he went to LIV saying like, "Oh, this is better for my mental health." But it seems like I'm not okay. He's obviously a great golfer. He got a huge payday from TaylorMade too. Like they got no money back from this dude. But I just don't think he's cut out to be a professional athlete mentally. Nothing to say with his talents or anything like that, but it seems like every time he's like the traveling and doing this, like you realize like there's guys that have families and do all this all year round. They don't crumble nearly as quick as you. And there's no disrespect to Matthew Wolff when I say that either, but I just don't think he's cut out for this. You know what I mean? I just don't think he's cut out for the lifestyle of a professional golfer is what it is. I don't think he seems to care like the other players do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm.
At least from what you hear and what you see. I could be dead wrong, but based on public perception, that's what it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard a ton about him for a while, but yeah, with that, where they were talking, where Brooks was just coming out every week and basically being like, can't get a hold of him, don't know, whatever, can't help yourself, can't help you if you can't help yourself. It's just like, Jesus, Brooks, like, take it easy, man. But
Brooks never takes it easy, dude.
No, he's a humongous dick.
Kind of.
No, not kind of. Worse. Horrible. All right. Golf ball rollback. Can somebody explain this to me? I don't know. Like the word bifurcation keeps getting thrown around, and I mean, like I kind of know what that is. I just want to know: am I gonna like be playing a worse golf ball soon?
Okay,
like, when is it happening?
I want to throw this out there, and I want to see what you guys think about it. So, I'm really confused because I understand the point of like the ag side of it where they can't have so much land and it saves on water and the economical impact of the large golf courses, but the debate about how it will make the play more even and like not benefit these long hitter players, to me it will affect the short hitters more. Because the long hitters are still going to be hitting it the longest and still have, and maybe instead of a pitching wedge, they'll have a 8-iron in, And the short hitters, instead of an 8-iron, they're going to be hitting a 5 or 6-iron in, which is way more punishing. That's my thought on it. For amateurs, I think that it's going to be even more imperative that players actually play the correct tee, where people always think they're better than they are and play back further. It's going to be very important that people like actually accept the fact that they have to move up a tee. But I want to hear what you guys think about like the separating the long hitters from short hitters side of the argument.
So I think you are right. I think it is going to punish the short hitters, but there's kind of a couple other things with it. People that hit the ball a long way hit the ball a lot harder, and they typically are going to be more errant. If they that word I can't say the word bifurcation.
Bifurcated.
But apparently, like from the metaphor, like Tiger said, it really the best was like a wood bat versus like an aluminum bat. It's basically what it is. But so to me, it brings the people that are more concerned with finding the fairways more consistently. They might have a longer shot in, but they're always still going to be in the fairway. Now, somebody like maybe Bryson or someone like Rory who hits the ball a long way, they'll still hit it a long way, but their ability to control it is going to go down, I feel like, exponentially. And then on top of it, the problem with the bomber golf is it turns into point and shoot golf. Is I'm going to bomb it. The ball is going to go straight because of the way the golf ball is designed. Like they don't spin as much as they used to. Well, now this brings back the thing that I personally grew up with golf that I love a whole lot is the shot shapers, the creativeness is going to bring those guys back into play a little bit more. So it's going to even things out in that aspect, if that makes sense. I see both sides of it. My opinion is if they roll it back, it's either stop the technology where it's at now, we're just not going to go past this point. From what I've read, though, the golf ball is going to be reeled back a few years, though.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm just kind of curious, what generation of golf balls are we going to end up on? You know what I mean? Like, which Pro V was the last Pro V that would have been eligible for this process? You know what I mean? So I think it does punish the short hitters, but it also brings a lot of other factors into play that kind of do even it out, if that makes sense. Because the reason why these guys hit it so long, too, and they have the advantage is, like I said, is point and shoot. They can hit the ball down there. Yeah, they're in the rough with a 9-iron, but with the golf balls that we have now, they can do those things with that golf ball. It's not a problem. Well, you have an old Ballada, like those old Titleist Ballada golf balls. Try playing point and shoot bomb golf with that. It's not going to work. You know what I mean? It's just not going to be the same. I think they're better off reeling back the driver heads than anything else. Yeah. I think going forward, you go back to the old school heads. I want to see them, and Adam Scott hit on this point, I want to see them go back to those small heads. Point, bomb away, guys, go after it. But now these giant drivers, the huge MOI and all those things, like, to me, I think that has more of an advantage than the golf ball does. But that's just, my take on it.
Even just like a 400cc or, something.
Yeah,
the 460 to 440 is a big difference. Like, that 400 or something. But for Rory being more errant, I feel like he'll be more accurate if the ball gets rolled back because his ball won't go as far.
But they spin more.
Will it for sure though?
I mean, I would like to think if you're trying to bomb a ball compared to trying to bomb a Chrome Soft X or a modern Pro V1, that it's going to pick up on that side. It's not going to correct itself. It's not going to be as stable in the wind and stable in the air as the golf balls are now.
Yeah, I guess it depends.
You know what I mean?
If they make it a more spinny ball, or if they just
I feel like they would have to take the distance off of it, though. That's the only way. That's why Tiger plays a more spinny ball, is because he still likes to shape shots and do certain things with it,
Yeah, it'll be interesting. What do you got, Ryan?
I mean, I honestly don't really know. So is this going to be, from your understanding, is this going to be for everybody? Like you and I are going to go buy these rollback balls eventually off the shelf too? Or
I think this time around, yes. Before it wasn't going to be like that. From what I read, they're doing it to essentially everyone. Okay. Which I think is kind of fair. If you're going to do it to everyone, for the reason being that amateur golfers, like the golfers that are trying to compete with the pros, like try to make it to a pro level, you need to be playing with that golf ball. You don't need to be playing with an elevated golf ball. You know what I mean?
If you play tournament golf on a professional level, then that's fine. Like, I don't have a problem with them rolling back the ball for the professional game. Like, I don't think Rory McIlroy needs to hit it 260 yards. That's fine. Like, Tiger doesn't need to hit it 359 down the middle of the fairway. I mean, make it harder for those guys. Like, it should be harder for those guys. I don't think you should punish a guy. Like, I don't think you should punish us.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think my dad should have to go buy a rollback golf ball because he already struggles with it. I don't know what these. There's all this little speech bubbles
Your
on my.
computer agrees with you.
That's so weird. I have no idea. I'm not touching anything.
So that's what,
Maybe I brought up such a good point that even the AI was like, "We should probably listen to this."
so Ryan,
So I just don't think that should be the case. Like, I shouldn't have to go buy a rollback golf ball because I'm never going to threaten anything. And if I decide to go play in a USGA event, fine, I can, or whatever, like use whatever golf ball is sanctioned by them. Just like if you throw the football around with your buddies, I should have to go buy an NFL like licensed football. I should be able to throw whatever football I want around. Who cares? It's not for anything. But if I'm going to go play a game, like they're going to have the certified ball that I would play with. So I think for me, for that I think is just kind of like, why punish a consumer? I think manufacturers should still make both balls, like make a ball. And if people want to buy the like Turbolata 90s that we all used to play with when we were kids, then buy those. And if you want to still buy the TP5X or the Chrome Soft LS that goes 270 yards, then you should be able to buy. I mean, I don't know. I just don't think there's a huge market like out there for amateur golf to be like, yeah, let's roll the ball back, because there's not a lot of guys out there who are like, maybe besides PJR and some other better players who are like, I really want a less forgiving golf ball that I have to learn how to work more. I don't disagree that the creativity of that is fun to watch at a professional level, and if that's something you want to do as
so
an
much
amateur,
fun to
you
do.
should have. It is fun.
It's
No,
so
I
much
don't.
fun.
I don't disagree with you, but I think you're a minority person who wants to even worry. Like,
Don't make this a race thing.
how many? It's not, has nothing to do with that. We're gonna edit that out. No, we'll keep it in. But I'm just saying, like, we all work at Curated. Like, how many of the customers that we help are wanting that? Very few of them. So, like, yeah, I don't know. I guess that's my thought on it. I agree more with what you're saying. PGR is like, okay, let's stop it right here. Let's stop driver technology here. Let's stop ball technology here for the professional. Like, why do we always? This is kind of just like a like more meta thought too, but like we don't always have to make something better. Like, it's good how it is. Like, it,
Money.
like, why do we have to? Yeah, no, I know. I mean, it is nice. Like, yeah, everybody wants to buy it, and I know that's why it will always happen. But it's just like, I don't know. Sometimes it's just kind of like, yeah, we can hit the ball far enough. Like now, like you're saying, like develop your skill or something like that. So I don't know, long-winded answer, but I just don't think the consumer or the amateur golfer should be punished because these pros are just out of control with how well they can use this equipment.
It will be interesting how this goes down as far as a marketing perspective goes, because financially, what are these companies going to do about golf ball equipment and all these other things? You know what I mean? And also, how is this going to change designing drivers going forward?
Mm-hmm.
These drivers are now based off of the technology we have now. So designing drivers going forward are going to have to compensate for the fact that the golf ball is at this level, not this level. So also, if you're designing drivers for this level, not this level, how's that going to impact people that are playing golf balls that are at this level still, like the regular everyday person? Like, there's just so many little moving parts here. Like, I don't know how they're going to do this without people losing a lot of money, which I really don't care about because it's not my money. But like, it's just, I don't know how they're going to manage. From my understanding, it shouldn't go into effect, I think, until like 2028. Was that the year? Something like that?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy how long it's going to take, which I get because you have to develop it all. It has to be tested and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It is like something crazy like that, 2028, 2030, something. I mean, we got some time for sure.
Ryan, what you were saying about the like bifurcation, about how it affects the amateurs too, what Rory and Tiger and Brandel have all been saying like for the last year is that the PGA Tour should be affected by it, but the rest of the world shouldn't. Like, everyone else shouldn't be affected by it because it doesn't really matter, and it would only hurt the game. So that's why, like, Rory came out with that post today about how he was so upset because a year ago the USGA and R&A tried to push this, and the ball manufacturers and club manufacturers shut it down because they didn't want to have to make two balls. And the club manufacturers didn't want because of the money impact. So now the way that they're going to have to push it through, it sounds like, is that it affects everyone.
Yeah, that's
instead
crazy.
of just the PGA Tour, which would have been ideal. because how crazy is it now that like if you and I are playing a match and I have a juiced Pro V1 or like or I'm posting scores, do I have to use an approved ball like or
for your handicap, your
Yeah.
getting handicap?
Yeah.
Like that.
That's so silly.
yeah, so it's gonna be
And who's
crazy.
gonna? I mean, and it's on the honor system, right? Like if you're posting a score, nobody knows.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's gonna really know unless it totally changes. So it's just kind of, I don't know. I thought Rory was. I read that post differently. I thought he was like, I don't understand why all the amateurs are upset. But I must have read it wrong because I did read that part about how he was like, well, you're crazy if you think that you use the same stuff that we do. So it's like, why?
That line got me because it made me go, wait a minute, what do you have?
Well, no, I mean, like, yeah, yes, that, but also we all know that it's not the same. Like, we know that the driver you get at Dick's Sporting Goods is not like
I think that's
as tailored as Rory McIlroy's driver is. But why can't, like you said, if they can do that with the clubs and nobody cares? Like, we all know that there's tour heads. I mean, anybody in the golf world knows that there's tour heads and there's tour. You know, you can get on the truck and you can grind it down to all these special whatever. Just do that with a golf ball. I mean, I know it's not as easy because you can't take a golf ball into a tour truck and just grind it down. But to your point, like just make tour balls. They make baseballs for the major leagues that you don't play with at high school.
And that's what
I almost feel like they need to get
comment today. It was metal bats, wood bats. That's what.
Well, I remember when they changed. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's what the argument is. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I remember when they changed the metal bat rule. So it used to be BESR, and then it went to BB Core, and everybody had to buy a new bat. And then they rolled the ball back in baseball too because like too many kids were taking hotline drives off the chest. And my answer was just like, well, like get your glove up, you know, like
be better.
I mean, it was a huge difference. It was crazy, but yeah, I mean,
this might sound kind of radical, but I honestly think maybe one of the best ways to solve this is. It isn't a brand manufacturer thing. If you go to show up for a PGA Tour event, as you're walking into that event, they are handing you your golf balls for the day. Everyone is playing the exact same golf ball. You go to the range, you're all hitting the exact same golf ball.
Yeah.
I think that would simplify, but the only problem with that is the one thing I love about golf is how customizable it is. Like I'm typically a sweeper. Ryan, you have a problem. You usually come in a little steep. We're not going to play the same golf ball and do the same thing because our swings are different. So the only issue with that is you're going to start boxing in the golf swing a little bit more, I think. And it takes, I don't know, like I said, there's a lot of moving pieces here that I don't know how you can put this puzzle together and it makes sense. But for competitive golf, if you really want to make it like, oh, metal bat, wood bat, then guess what? You're all playing the same golf ball. Figure it out.
Right.
You know, but that also could just separate the really good for players and the players that are barely making it by on tour. And all of a sudden those guys aren't going to be on tour anymore, possibly. So it's just, then again, the argument is like you said, like get your glove up. Well, get your glove up. Well, get better, be better, maybe in the future of golf, this is a long-term investment where, hey, it starts bringing the group, like the tournaments closer. The matches are going to be tighter. We're all playing the same ball now. After a few years, we're all the same caliber of golfers. Maybe golf gets more interesting in a decade because of it. You know, like I'm not saying it won't, but something to think about, you know?
Yeah, we may see another Tiger Woods who just blew past the competition because he was so much better. Like
legit better because everything was like neck and neck.
Chasing him. Now we're all chasing the tech.
Yeah.
The tech was chasing him, and he was just so much better than what everybody else was able to do with the available tech. So we may see stuff like that where some guys just separate themselves because it's just like, well, they can just do crazy things no matter if the golf ball's made of just rubber bands or if it's,
which would be cool too, because I do agree. You said a good point there about chasing the tech. I mean, that's something actually we struggle with as fitters too. Everyone's like, with the newest thing, like I want to gain 40 yards. I'm like, have you just thought about getting a lesson? Like, at what point are you going to try to actively to improve your golf game instead of relying so much on technology? And so I think take the technology out of the game a little bit. You start have to relying on yourself. You maybe get a better caliber of golfers. Like I think it brings someone like Colin Morikawa more into play. Someone being an excellent ball striker. It's going to bring back good ball striking, shot shaping, and all the things that made golf so good for so long and so creative and so much fun. Like that's what makes Jack's 1-iron at Pebble so infamous. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to say it wouldn't be impressive now, but a 1-iron now, you're using a 1-iron driving hybrid with a high MOI and the perfect shot for it, a golf ball that bores through the wind. Back then, he had a golf ball that balloon in the wind, a steel shafted 1-iron that's the size of a baby fist. Like, that's what made that shot so special. So arguably, it could be a good long-term investment for golf and really tightening things up and elevating the competition. I can see the argument for it. I just don't have to like it.
The argument for it on the PGA Tour, exactly right. Like, I'm totally fine down. I mean, like, roll that ball back to the Stone Age on the PGA Tour. Like, let them hit a pebble around.
Yeah.
I think they should have like an old persimmon wood. I think they should go back and have one rollback tournament a year. Persimmon woods, old golf balls, steel shafts and everything, and shitty greens. Let's go.
Right. I also think, though, if you're trying to grow the game, right, like there's been this huge push to get people who are not normal golfers into golf, whether it's like the attire that's acceptable or the music that gets played or all these kinds of products. And I just have that group that we're trying to get into golf that is not a typical golfer is not going to go want to hit the ball 220 yards with a driver like that. They'll lose their interest no matter what music you put on, no matter what outfit you can wear. Like, if they're just going to go out and like dink the ball around, if they can't buy like a cool driver and just smoke it out there, then now you've lost that whole group, I think. And that's the other thing too, is just like all these people you want to grow the game, this like new, I think you're gonna cut off a huge section of the population because like nobody wants to play a balata ball. It's like, it's not fun. I mean, like you said, you have to have the skill. You have to go work at it. Like 90% of golfers are not going to go work at that.
Only 1% of golfers ever break 80.
Yeah, so it's just like I don't know how realistic that is for golf as a global population, and like they're trying to make these decisions based on a 150-man field, and then they're going to change it for a billion people. It makes no sense.
That's why I think their best bet is having a stationary golf ball for the PGA Tour and allow golf brand manufacturers to still make golf balls the way that they do for the average consumer.
I hope they do that. I hope they end up doing something like that, because I think that's the only way to like. Because I mean, I would love to see it on the PGA Tour. I would love to watch those guys have to like carve it up. I just don't want to do it.
Oh, I mean, it'll be fun to watch. Absolutely, I can't wait. I can't wait to see all the shot slinging and everything like that, like there used to be. It was so much fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. Anything else? Go, Brady.
Pace of play on the local munis. that's like the first thing that comes to my mind.
It's gonna be hot garbage. Hot garbage is what it's gonna be.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. If you get the people who are already bad into a thing that makes them worse golfers, because it will make them worse.
Oh yeah,
it'll make them worse golfers. It'll make us all worse golfers until we figure out how to use it. Like, even the best of us will be worse. Our average score will go up. So yeah, that'll be a nightmare for sure. I mean, although it may clear out, because you can't book a tee time now. So like maybe it clears out the riffraff and we just get to go back to like, like, hey, I can actually book a tee time to play with other like golfers on the weekend. Because right now you cannot book tee times. It's crazy.
It sucks. Here it's awful. Unless you want like a 6-hour round.
Awful. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. It's expensive. Like courses that used to be $30-$40 are $125. It's wild.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I don't know. I didn't think I was going to get that hot about it. Honestly, I had no like inclination coming in that I was going to get that worked up about it.
You're welcome.
It's pretty frustrating. I'm in a stockpile. I mean, I have a pretty good pile going up here now, but I'm just going to whore myself out for golf balls for the next 7 years and just have like, I don't need to buy a golf ball for 40 years.
Arsenal. You can like black market sell them too. Right. You can be like the drug dealer of golf balls.
Yeah, I have a 2022 TP5X. Just saying.
Can I get some of that juice?
Yeah. $50 for a box. It's up to you. Whatever. I'm telling you.
I'm going to put the box right here.
Yeah, whatever you got. I got Bridgestones with Tiger's face on them. Remember that guy? He's dead. I don't know what to tell you.
I never saw anything.
Yeah. Anyways. All right. Well, that was I feel like that was a good episode back. Any closing thoughts, fellas? Anybody got anything? All right.
Just stoked to be back at it and talking golf with you guys. So thank you for having me back. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for coming back. All right. Well, that's been episode 19 / the new episode 1 / whatever you want to call it of Par None. We are going to come back. So episodes will come out on Wednesdays. So if you're listening to this, it's Wednesday or some other day after that. So I'm going to get that done, and expect them Wednesdays from now on. We're coming back. We're coming back with vengeance. So besides like Christmas and all that kind of stuff.
I seek vengeance on Christmas too.
PGR seeks vengeance on a lot of things.
I do. I'm like Batman.
To be continued. All right.
Thank you.
See you guys.